that the thinking man pose? There should be a flushing sound right after this. Okay. Look at this. I got a swingy table. I love it. It's like, hey, swingy. That's great. Actually, I'm going to get comfy. Get ready for my interview. My mass interview. Interview from the masses. Wow. Technical difficulties. Don't worry, folks. I'm here. Are you? Good morning, by the way. It's a Thursday morning. I am I have no idea what you guys are looking at over there. So.
Teddy says hi.
So Teddy, first one to say hi today. All right, Teddy. She's one of my favorite fans, my #1 fan, my top fan. I won't tell you everything that she's told me, but yeah. Oh, so I just won't let her boss know that she's watching me while she's at work right now. There's certain people out there that, you know, I know you guys aren't saying hi to me just because I might say hi back and I might know your boss or your spouse or your kid.
Nana says good day, so she doesn't say hi.
A good day. Oh,
Jennifer,
wow. Okay, this is worrying me. We're doing an open mic interview question and answer, and so far it's close relatives. That worries me.
Jennifer Laura says hi.
Jennifer Laura! I don't think we're related, so glad to see you on board today. That's
Rachel
good.
Brown.
So, Rachel Brown, Oregon, right? Yeah. By the way, Rachel, I know your first question. I know what it is, and we kind of got overwhelmed with the orders for the Stumpy the Tortoise shirts. And we also have had issues with production. Something about a lot of people not going to work and producing shirts or something. I don't really know. I am blaming it on the corona. I will be honest, but that's why. I just talked to somebody yesterday, head up in printings and stuff, and it's supposed to be on Monday, I think, or Tuesday they're printing, so you will have them immediately. Your package is waiting for your shirts to be put in there to be sent to you. I also answered a lot of other people's questions at the same time, because some of you are wondering, hey, I ordered this merchandise. Well, if you ordered anything that had a Stumpy the Tortoise shirt, chances are it's going to be probably a week from today before you get them. So there you go. Which is still this month. So it means you'll have your your merchandise from us before you're allowed to leave your house. So there's that. Anyway, let's. Who else? Is anybody else saying hi? Wait, let me guess here. I'm going to go psychic moment here. The great Wildman is Davis is in Tucson. I hope you guys are doing great. Thank you for tuning in. I'm just guessing because they're usually one of the first. So, is there a Donna out there? I've got like 6 of them, I guess.
Donna Hammock.
Yeah. Oh yes, the great hammocks from Chandler, I believe. So. And you were smart. You didn't order any. I don't know if you're smart or not, but you lucked out. You didn't order any of the Stumpy the Tortoise. You got in before those were an issue. So you did get your merchandise. I want to see how great you all look in those, by the way. So feel free to post those. But
Jennifer Elliott says hi, Uncle Phil.
Oh wow, my niece Jen. How you doing? Actually, I'm talking to her kids.
Oh, Donna Jagelski is offended that we didn't say hi to her.
That's the Donna that, you know what, Donna? We'll get you taken care of now, all right? So, Donna, I know you and I chat a little bit behind the scenes about today's episode, and I want you to know, thank you. We got you taken care of, Donna, so a big shout out to Donna, who I think has a little star thing or whatever, like a little jewel, I guess. It says top fan. We like the top fans. Thank you. And Donna, You've been very, very helpful in keeping that, and we like your enthusiasm, by the way. So, and then of course Aunt Donna. I have an aunt named Donna. Maybe shout out to her. Donna McBride. Sometimes she watches. Probably not right now. I'll give her a shout out. Good friend. And all the other Donnas that I'm not able to see or watching today. So.
Oh, and Emily Ricosi says good morning.
Oh, good morning, the Emily. All right, and thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you're actually awake at almost noon on a weekday. Teenagers. Yeah. So, all right, are we ready? All right. Today, before we get started, first off, once again, thank you to everyone that has been supporting this. I don't know, we were talking the other day, the production team and I, and we have literally filmed an entire TV series for you guys, a whole season for you. And I'm not talking the new ones, where they only have 7 or 8 episodes, but they're an hour and a half long, and that all counts. I'm talking traditional 13 episode seasons. We're in the middle of season 2. And it's only been, it seems like 6 months. I think it's only been 2 months. So the fact that we're still having people show up, amazing. Thank you. Also, the fact that we still have, content that is interesting. That's nice. But thank you guys for the support. Thank you to the sponsors, Abiding Impressions. Thank you for getting us all hooked up with the apparel and the online shop and that sort of thing. So we do thank you guys for that. With that being said, and Brave Wilderness, I don't know if any of the Coyote packs kicked over here now from watching them on YouTube, but we appreciate you guys being here too. So with that being said, today is just that open mic. You have a keyboard in front of you. That's your microphone. You have a question you want to know from Wildman Phil. Let's go ahead and let's get started. So I have this amazing new Fandangle thing that where when you type in the question, it comes through to me in an audio file type voice, and so it's technology is amazing. All right, I have a similar thing on my phone sometimes. I use that when I'm going to text my family or my friends or my enemies. I don't know, whoever I text. What is it besides friends and family? Really, let's be honest, okay? Coworkers, I like them. Anyway, they're friends. So let's say I'm texting, niece Jen, and I'm like, hey, I'm driving, or I just am lazy, and I want to say, hey, Jen, so I'm hoping I'll see you this afternoon, 4 o'clock still work for our meeting. And then it puts it into letters and sends it to her, and she can read it. It's the craziest thing. It's that type of technology we're going to try and use today. So, with that being said, let's go with the first question. Who's got one? Great. This interview is it's kind of like a virtual interview with nobody going. So right. I see a hand come up.
First question from Jennifer Aldridge from a Ruby. What is your favorite animal to work with?
I should have prefaced this whole entire interview thing by letting you know I don't do favorites, okay? But let's be honest, there's always something, right? And I like the way that you phrase that question is, what's your favorite animal? There's about 20 different categories. So, my favorite animal to work with. Thank you. Wonderful question. You have a future working with maybe a news station or something. You know how to interview. So with that being said, congratulations on that step. My favorite animal to work with, that actually splits into a couple of different categories because it could be to work with out in the wild, or to work with in captivity, or to work with on stage. And I know this seems like, oh, okay, so maybe I'll just nail all those for you. So my favorite animal to work with would probably maybe be, there's so many. I really like working with my alligator Amos. So specifically Amos, my alligator that I've had for 5 years. It's amazing to me to see the intelligence of an alligator and to understand the amazingness of that. So it's fun working with him, but it's also, how do I say it, not the easiest job. okay? As much as he's an intelligent creature, he's still a creature, okay? He's an alligator. So, you know, I could train other animals easier, but I like working with him because it is a challenge. And it's just cool to be, I'm working with an alligator. And yeah, when I do finally make some kind of breakthrough or something, like this morning when I went out, he came swimming up over to our feeding area, and that was him telling me, hey, I'm ready to eat. And now I know. So him and I, training each other, if you will, has actually worked out pretty well. So I like working with him. Now, I don't work with him on stage, so I do have certain creatures that I like working with on stage. Chip the alligator, he's a fun one. Amos was when I worked with him on stage. We only use him for educational displays and stuff now. Because Chip knows his job and he does it very well, and so it's kind of fun. There are some that I don't like working with on stage more than others sometimes. So believe it or not, Stumpy the tortoise is one that he likes to sometimes pee and poop on me on stage. So you know, there's that. But as far as actually working with, generally overall, I like working with all the different animals. You know, Jill the lemur is loads of fun. Lizards in general are fun working with. I like you know, working with snakes and stuff as well as a general broad thing. Out in the wild, there's certain animals that I like to come across that are just, you know, hey, let's mess with this guy and get good pictures of him and which ones work better out there. Gila monsters are fun because, you know, you just get pictures and they look pretty and all that. But I don't know if that nails it down, I guess. So I feel like I answered that as if you were asking me, you know, what I was going to do when I run for office and I was going to change the world. Yeah, that was my political answer. I'm all over. Nothing quick and simple with that type of question. So, but let's try, what do we have next? Now that you know that about me.
Lee Bailey says, I was not able to ask yesterday, do owls eat snakes? See
Yes.
people from plastic ones on the house.
Yes. So, here's the thing with that. Very good question. A follow-up from yesterday. I hope you guys all enjoyed yesterday's. I had a load of fun doing that yesterday, even though I did get pooped on by an owl, and it did bounce off of my head, but it didn't claw me. It wasn't out to fight. It was just my head was in its way. But one of the things that owls will eat snakes. Yes. Owls will eat rodents. They'll eat other birds. Most of the time they're eating rodents, but they will eat snakes. In fact, I may have mentioned it yesterday. You might go back and check, but one time when I was doing a College for Kids program and I was dissecting an owl pellet, which is the regurgitated remains of what they've eaten that they can't digest, we had one that basically had a mouse and a snake in there. And it was weird because there was all kinds of rib pieces and only a few femurs, the leg, you know, bones. And so that was interesting to me to be able to find that, oh yeah, there's all kinds of vertebrae and backbone because it was a snake in there. So yes, they will. Now, as far as people having the plastic ones on the roofs and stuff, if you're talking about plastic snakes on the roof, I know a lot of people do that because that keeps the pigeons away, the sparrows away, and the other let's poop all over everybody's stuffed birds away. Now, if you're talking about the plastic owls on roofs, that is for the same reason. Of course, you know, yeah, your birds are going, hey, there's a big old owl right there. I might want to stay away. And any of those deterrents on roofs are usually there to keep the pigeons, the sparrows, and the, you know, the starlings and stuff away. So, yes, owls eat. See, here's a quick version now. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Trish Romano says, I really want tree frogs for pets. What kind do you recommend, and how do I make them happiest?
Well, you have to sing to them regularly, find out what genre they like. So to keep a frog happy, if it's one that you catch down south, and you need to be able to sing, not just play pre-recorded, okay, because the vocals what they like, because they're frogs, you have to sing country music to them. If it is one that you found maybe that's from up north or something, or actually the fun ones are some of the Australian ones. Then you have to find Australian tunes and get those down. That makes them happy. I'm just messing with you. Although, please let me know if you sing to your frog. That would be great. Lots of different tree frogs. Tree frogs are actually a very good pet. They're a pretty easy pet. We're actually going to do an episode on what frog is a good pet for me. We have these coming up because of these questions. So many people want to know. We did the what snake is best for me on, I think it was Monday. Next week we're going to do a what lizard is the best pet for me, and then what frog is the best pet for me. And then of course we'll have, which camel is the best pet for me segment that will never air. I'm just kidding. But I'll answer your question shortly now without showing you all the different ones. Regular tree frogs are easy. Frogs are pretty easy as long as they have a water supply where they can get wet. For tree frogs, that's great. You can get some that need a big, elaborate setup where you have a fog machine and stuff. A lot of like poison dart frogs and dendrobates and all these things. But really, for an easy pet, I will tell you one of my favorites is the dumpy tree frog, or even maybe a White's tree frog because they're bigger. They're tree frogs, so don't expect a whole lot from them as far as moving and that sort of thing. But tree frogs are nice because you put them in a glass tank, because that works best for them. They need the humidity to stay in, and you want to be able to see them. And they'll usually just get in a corner and they'll stay somewhere. You can give them a big, beautiful plant. Every once in a while they make you happy and they stick on the plant, but usually they're up in a corner somewhere. So a bigger one is nicer, unless you want to go with a lot of tree frogs. See, regular, you can get them at almost any pet store. I know Unique Aquariums in Casa Grande had some, and basically any reptile place I've been to, actually A&E in Phoenix, of course Holdfast in Apache Junction. They have they're like, I don't know, $15 each, so they're not super expensive, but they're regular, normal, if you will, tree frogs that we have here in the U.S. But then you can get specialty ones, the White's tree frogs, the dumpies, and these bigger ones. And there's so many of those. You basically just pick out which one you like the best look of. You can get some that are polka dotted. You can get some that are bright greens, bright yellows, silverish, lots of them. And all of these, any tree frog is pretty easy. You just get some crickets, throw it in there, once a week, and you watch them eat. It's really fun. As long as you have a good humid enclosure, works out well. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to buy whatever it is Wildman Phil tells me, I would go with dumpy tree frog. That's a good one right there. And I would also go to, Holdfast Exotics and, Reptiles and Exotics at Apache Junction. But that's just me. You go where you want. So, all right, next question.
During these tough times, it is asked, how does Amos feel about social distancing?
He's an alligator. He doesn't like people. He loves this. He's like, hey, look, the people are doing what I've been wanting them to do forever. Not hang out together. The good news is, sorry, it's good coffee. The good news is that alligators are pretty good at letting you know if they like you around or not. So, yeah. You get usually within about 6-8 feet. This is where I wonder if the CDC came up with this whole recommendation because they were studying alligators. I'm thinking some guy's down in Alabama or Louisiana, and he comes walking up to alligators. He gets 6 feet away, and the alligator starts hissing and growling, and he's like, you know what? That's close enough. Let's make that a recommendation for everybody. Yeah, works out well. But the alligators, Amos the alligator, he's good with the social distancing until food service becomes essential to him. Yeah, let's be honest. He's Mr. Hey, I'll come right up and take that out of your hands, and this 6 feet thing doesn't matter anymore because I'm hungry. That's definitely something. Now I like at those times I like to keep a good solid 6 to 18 inches. So I use tongs, because I can feed him with my fingers sometimes, but sometimes he gets a little over anxious, a little. We've all been there, right? You're like, oh, I'm so hungry, and then you bite your own fingers trying to eat your hamburger. You all have done that. I'm not the only one. Let's be honest. Yeah, that's not good when he gets my fingers. So I use the tongs. It works out very well. So.
From Miles, how many animals do you have?
Very good question, Miles. How many animals do I have? That changes literally sometimes day to day. Usually around 225, I think, is where we're at right now. If you want, I can take some time and you tally mark every time I name an animal, and then we can add them up at the end. Let's not do that. That would take up the rest of our afternoon. So, but I have a lot of turtles, a lot of tortoises, African sport tortoises. I was told this morning we have 25 adults. I don't know. I'm just going on the, what my kids have to tell me that they were out counting tortoises, Every once in a while, we wake up one morning, we walk out in the yard, and there's a little baby tortoise that has hatched from somewhere we didn't even know they were. And then it's like Easter. We're like, hey, here, kids, here's a little basket. Go find all the little tortoises. And you go around finding all the little baby tortoises. And suddenly now we have 250 animals because we found 25 tortoises. Sometimes somebody gets a hold of us, hey, can you take this turtle? Can you take this snake? And we take it in. Sometimes we find homes for them, we get rid of them. So it varies, but around 225 animals every time that I have done any actual real, as of the moment, inventory. You would think with the kind of technology we have of you typing that in and then the text-to-voice thing coming to me, that we would be able to have a computer program that I could pull out my phone and go, boop, boop, I have this many today. But we're not into that as much. So yeah, sorry. All right, next question.
Ian wants to know, have you ever worked with a Komodo dragon?
Well, I have worked with snakes in the political field. No, that's different. I'm sorry. No, that's a real question. Komodo dragons. I have actually only ever seen a couple. I've never worked with Komodo dragons. Now, I have worked with Nile monitors, water monitors, savanna monitors, Gila monsters, beaded lizards, alligators, and a lot of things that maybe are not quite a Komodo dragon, but similar. And of course, because of that, I have always thought that would be cool to work with a Komodo dragon. I thought working with Nile monitors, which, gets 6-7 feet long. I had a 7-foot long Nile monitor once. When he was in his enclosure, that was his enclosure, and he would slap with his tail. You grab me, try and bite your face off and your hands and whatever else he could reach. I've had incidences with that where I got stuck in positions because I was bit pretty well by one. And of course, I had some reaction to it, different things. And I was like, okay, now I got an alligator. I know what I'm doing. And then I did a little alligator handling training, and I discovered, no, I was wrong. That's a whole other thing. So I would imagine that's how it would go with Komodo dragons. And someday, that's on my bucket list. If you start asking bucket list questions, like what animal do you want this? That's one of them that I would love to work with, a Komodo dragon. Preferably probably in a zoo setting or a captive setting to start with before I go out in the wild. Then I have to see if I'm faster than that, because I'm not. I know the Komodo dragon could chase me down, and that wouldn't end well necessarily. So, because they're bigger than me, could eat me, and I'm not into that. Yeah, I'd like to be the spider, not the fly. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. Sorry. Good question, though. Thank you. Yes, Komodo dragons. Thank you for bringing that up.
Jennifer Laura really wants to know if we have baby animals.
We have many much baby animals. So we'll be doing a segment, an episode on just our baby animals. Now that we're into the spring some. Actually, the farmyard episode, you probably saw some. We had the chicks and we had the ducklings in that one. But we also have another one that we want to feature in the next little bit that we'll talk about a little bit later. Probably late next week, I think. But we've got some baby stuff I don't want to give away. More farmyard animals. But we also have baby tortoises, and usually we don't have the baby lizards and the baby snakes because they're not usually born until usually about August, September or so. We might have some of those then. But I'm trying to think what else that we have that right now. We still have some from last year and different things. So we have baby snake. We have some baby tarantulas and scorpions and different things. So the cute stuff, we don't have any. No, we don't have any baby hedgehogs right now. Those are they're like so ugly. They're cute though. They're interesting. So anyway, so we do have lots of baby animals, and yes. Give me some thumbs up there, some likes if you want to see an episode on the various baby animals. Just the baby animals. So let me know if you want to see that. Give me a yes, we want to see baby animals. Okay, but another question. Sorry, we got more questions coming in. So
this one's a good one. 7-year-old Cameron from Fort Worth wants to know who would win in a battle between a hippopotamus and a rhinoceros. Very good question.
This is something I have often pondered, and of course, I've done very much research into this. So it was Cameron, I think, is what, Alexis, who asked my last question? We have, But nothing. Okay. Yeah, I'm just kidding. So, younger, what?
What was the question?
The question was who would win between
a hippo and a rhino?
Yeah, but who was it? Was it Cameron that asked?
Cameron.
I like to know my interviewer here because it makes it more personal, right? Yeah. So, Cameron from the great state of Texas, who would win between a hippopotamus and a rhinoceros? And so I've thought of this one as well as a lot of other scenarios. And I've done great extensive research into this, and it depends on where the fight took place. This is very important, okay? Now, if you took a rhino, from my experience, if you took a hippo, and I'm assuming we're going adult with everything, because, that all plays into it too, who would win between, a little baby of something and an adult of something. That's just uneven. We don't do that. So, adult rhinoceros, adult hippo. All right, who would win between the two? Well, here's the thing. If you took the adults and you dropped them into a lake, then the hippo would win. Mostly because rhinoceros, of course, they're strictly terrestrial, which means they like to be on the land, right? Hippos, they're at home in the water, right? Now, you have to realize both these animals are herbivores. They're plant eaters, right? So you have rhinoceros over here, he's eating plants, and you have hippo over here, who, you got guy with the horn sticking up in the mouth, and they're eating plants. But if you drop them into the water, the hippo can swim, and the rhino cannot. So the rhino, he's just like, which translates to what's going on, but he's underwater. So he's over here trying to swim out, all right? And he's so heavy, he's sinking, and he's barely hitting the ground, and he's finally getting out. And the hippo is like, dude, I'm trying to eat water plants, and we're in this to fight because Cameron said we're supposed to. And so he would actually bite him, and he would end up drowning. He could definitely overtake him. Very, very powerful a bite, and the bite would still work in the water. But if you took the rhino and the hippo and you put them out on the land and you put them together and they're out there eating, boop, 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 and then they're like, oh, Cameron says ding, 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 we gotta go, and they start fighting, then the rhinoceros is going to charge. The hippo might try and bite him, but he's probably he's gonna get stabbed a few times. Rhinoceros, they have, the horn things that they can, and they also have a very, 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 extremely, very, very, very thick skin. And so even though the powerful bite of the hippo can crush and stuff, he's not going to be able to really open enough to get onto the body of that. So he'd end up just getting a leg, and then he'd probably get stabbed a few times because he doesn't have as thick a skin. And so in that situation, the rhino would win. But there's also another scenario. There's actually two more that I had to research. And that is if you brought them in and you threw them in a WWE ring in, say, Caesar's Palace or someplace in Vegas, and you dropped them in there and you said, hey, go at it, boys, and they're not in their normal natural habitat, then what would happen is they would end up making a huge mess and probably end up killing each other. But the reality is, to answer the question, if they ever came across each other, they would end up leaving each other alone. The whole idea of animals is to scare the other one away. So the rhino, he's like, I got a horn, making noise and looking scary. And the hippo is going to be, oh, sorry, man, didn't know you're there. And then he's going to run off. Or the hippo is going to hiss and open his mouth, and the rhino is going to turn and run away. So there you go. Next question.
What is the scariest thing that happened to you while working with animals?
I had kids. No, the scariest thing that ever happened to me working with animals. Okay, this is like, you guys are going to learn as interviewers, you got to ask for like a list, all right? Because I can give you the top 5, and then you can put them in whatever order, okay? Really, though, I'm not a person that gets scared very easily, and obviously I work with these animals, and I have 5 kids, and I'm married, and okay, I'm kind of afraid of her. But I have had a few instances where working with the animals, I was actually afraid, or what I would like to say is close to afraid. Most of those involved great pain and uncertainty. One of the times that I was actually very afraid was when I got bit by the giant desert centipede. I know you're expecting me to say the time I was running from the hippo that was getting chased by a rhino. Okay, that would have been scary. But no, it was the little giant desert centipede. I wasn't afraid working with him, but when I got bit, and I didn't really know how bad it was until it happened, and I let it chew and put venom in me and all that, I was in so much pain that I was like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? And I was thinking my thumb was hurting so bad, it was swollen and everything. I was pretty sure that I was going to have a baby alien pop out of my thumb. I was scared. I even told my family, I was like, guys, just so you know, if a baby alien comes out of my hand, don't freak out. It's probably going to happen. It was that bad. Being bit by the alligator, you would think in top 5. I did get bit by one of my alligators a number of years ago. Ended up with 19 stitches, and it tore my hand open. I have a severed tendon, can't straighten my finger. I never thought, oh, I'm going to die, though. I was just thinking, oh, that's a lot of blood, and I'm glad I didn't get it all over. I didn't scare a bunch of kids in the process, okay? But I did get bit by a rattlesnake one time. This was many, many years ago. And this particular, that was one that worried me some. Not because, I mean, at first I was like, no big deal. And then my body started doing things because, unbeknownst to me, that's right, I actually had an allergic reaction to the venom. And allergic reactions, I will tell you, is one of the scariest things ever because it's affecting your body, and the allergic reaction is such that you don't know what's going on. In my case, my whole body swelled up, and I couldn't open one. The other one I barely could open, and the whole face and the whole body, everything's swollen, and I'm going, hey, what's going on here? And that was a little on the scary side, but really, the scariest thing for me then was that I cannot get bit by a rattlesnake again, or I'll be dead in less than 30 minutes. That's what the doctors tell me. I'm not really going to try and check that one out, which means one of the scariest times for me was actually since then working with a rattlesnake that got pretty close to getting me. And that was one of those that, I'm working with it and it turns and boom, right past me. I went, whew, had I been a little bit slower, that would have been the end. And that, believe it or not, was actually probably one of the scariest, if you will. Now, kind of a strange situation here, but one of the times I've actually feared for my life working with animals was when I was feeding my red-tailed boas. This is years and years ago, and I found out, it doesn't make any sense to anybody, but I found out that if I work with rats and handle rats and eat ice cream at the same time, my body has some weird allergic reaction. I can eat ice cream, no problem. I can handle rats, live, frozen, thawed out, whatever, no problem. But if I do it together, I don't know why this is, but I've had it happen twice now. I was thawing out rats because, to feed the snakes, you get frozen, so I had these red-tailed boas. I was thawing out 2 rats to feed them, and I had them warm water and all that. I've been working with them, washed my hands and everything, and then I started eating ice cream. And I got this allergic reaction where I couldn't breathe. My throat started swelling up, and that is a scary feeling. Not being able to breathe, scariest thing ever. So eating ice cream and feeding the snakes was probably one of the scariest, I got to be honest. So with that being said, we have many much more questions and only a little bit of time. So let's go.
How long does it take to feed all of the animals?
Oh, it takes 22 and a half hours, which is good. I can run on no sleep. No. That is something, feeding the animals that we have to take care of with 225. It's not like feeding 225 dogs, all right, or, whatever else you might be feeding. A lot of the animals do have to eat every day, but some of them only eat once a week, like the snakes. Some of them will eat, we feed them twice a week, a lot of things that eat the crickets. So we get 2,000 crickets in. And then we go in and we dump 20 in this tank and 5 in that tank and 50 and then with that animal and 10 with that tarantula and, whatever. And then the crickets live in there until they get all eaten. So we do that twice a week. That takes about 30 minutes or so to feed off crickets, we call it, twice a week. But then there's things like every day. It takes about, if it's me, I wake up and I go do it, it takes about 30 minutes a day to go through and throw in the produce with these animals and the food with the lemur and the bird scratch to the chickens and that sort of thing. And then it takes about half an hour to an hour or so, depending on the time of year and exactly on what we're doing and the situation, to feed off the snakes. But that only happens once a week, not to feed off the snakes, to feed off mice, to feed mice to the snakes. And then you have these ones that are kind of weird, that they don't eat every, Thursday and Monday. Like the alligators, it's like I go out and they show me they're hungry, then I go in and get some food. So I make those rounds, and that kind of adds another little bit of time, about 10 or 15 minutes every once in a while. But, feeding the pig, feeding the armadillo, things they eat every day, it's usually less than an hour, really. So it's not as bad as you might think. All right, but on a different note...
When you catch rattlesnakes, what do you do with them?
Burritos. That's the best. No, it's like they're already made, see? When I catch rattlesnakes, usually I catch rattlesnakes because I'm with a group and I'm showing them up close and they're getting to touch them and see them and whatever, and then we let them go. Get all the pictures and let them go. Occasionally, if somebody has one in their house, and then usually I just take it on the other side of the fence and let it go so we can come back and do it again tomorrow. No, those ones, if they're in a yard or something, they're usually in a rural area. We'll take them out a bit and let them go. So they're still in their area and they'll live, but not right up next to the house anymore. And that's generally how it is. Now, I do have some rattlesnakes that I keep for, doing the education like I do anything else. But those, we've had for years and years. And they're generally ones that we found in somebody's yard where they go, hey, I found this snake here, and we catch it, and then we'll go, hey, you know what? I don't have a tiger rattlesnake. Thank you for having one on your back porch. And then we use it. We talk about rattlesnakes and that sort of thing. So most of the time when I catch a rattlesnake, it's just because we're with somebody handling it. If I'm just out on my own and I see one on the road, I'll just get out. I don't even pick it up. I just grab my snake hook and help it off the road because the car coming is just going to run it over. So, but most of the time, if I do catch one, it's just to help educate people that are with me for that reason. And then, get pictures, let it go, and let it go tell all its friends that these humans actually let me live, and they're not all out to kill me. And, kind of like we have to tell people about the rattlesnakes. Okay, good question, though.
Do your kids love animals as much as you do?
Nobody loves animals as much as I do. Some of them do, and it's funny because they've grown up with it, and so they don't know any better, right?
We don't.
And my different animals, sorry, my technology is going a little weird over here. Yeah, maybe that's what I should do. Hey, kids, come in here, answer this question. Kids, sorry, they're out wrangling the animals. No, we do have, they like the animals, but they all have their certain ones that they like. So overall, I seem to be more of a generalist, but there's certain things that I like that some of my kids don't, and vice versa. My daughter Emily, she likes the birds. I'm like, birds? Who likes birds? Emily. There you go. But my daughter Mary Jane, she's the farmyard. Right? She's going to end up owning a farm somewhere someday, and it's going to be great. But it's one of these things that. The different ones, my one daughter, Brianna, she likes the petty animals, so, she's dogs, cats, chinchillas, that sort of thing. But she understands them. If she finds a lizard or snake out in the wild, yeah, they're okay with it. My son, he loves the creepy crawlies and that sort of thing. My daughter Holly, she loves, caterpillars. No. She hates caterpillars. My bad. Her favorite animal is butterflies. Her scariest animal is baby butterflies. Caterpillars. Makes no sense to me either, I know. But she literally, like in her office, has a lizard, So there's stuff like that. We all have our different animals that we like and don't like, sort of thing. And I'm going to take this opportunity. Speaking of animals that people like, I've been told that somebody has a birthday today. And I want to take this opportunity to do a huge shout out. I was contacted by a mystery person. I won't say who. But apparently, there's somebody watching named Dee in the Chicago area. If this is the case, I need you to say hello right now so we see your name pop up, or say, yes, I'm watching. Let me know you're watching. And as soon as I do, I do have a special presentation for you. I didn't say it's a great presentation. It might just be me singing happy birthday, which the rest of everybody's hoping is not going to be the case. So, but I do need to make sure that that everything works. So, Dee from Chicago, are you watching? You might be watching on your mom's computer, so it might pop up as your mom, whatever. But let me know you're watching. Okay, everybody else is watching. Today is Dee's 10th birthday. Today, right now, is Dee's 10th birthday. So, I want everybody here to put happy birthday, Dee. Letter D. There you go. Sounds good to me. Yeah, that's how she spells her name. Very easy to remember. Very easy for me. So, everybody else starts saying happy birthday to Dee, because this was arranged by a friend that she loves animals. I was told that she loves animals. Dee loves animals. And for her 10th birthday, she's kind of stuck. Can't go to the zoo. I can't even show up at her house because she lives a long ways away. And that sort of thing. So I'm going to take a few minutes. And everybody, let's have a little birthday party for Dee. So everybody tell her a big happy birthday. And while you're doing that, I've heard rumor that Dee has a couple of different animals that she likes. And what's a show with Wildman Phil without animals? So I want to see what Dee thinks about this little creature here. Is this creature good for you, Dee? If I box this up and send it to you, will that be good? Don't let your mom answer. I'm not going to be able to send this to you because they're kind of hard to come by. This is a bird-eating spider. The bird-eating spider is a type of tarantula. It's found in South America, and this is not full grown. This thing will get to be about that big. Okay, but the bird-eating spider. Whoa! You're getting ahead of me here, bird-eating spider. Okay, yeah. All right. The bird-eating spider is a super cool creature. Some people do keep them as actually just pets. It's one of these that you would kind of rather run into in an aquarium in somebody's bedroom than walking free across the bathroom floor, let's be honest. But the bird-eating spider got its name because it eats all kinds of different bugs. I know, right? Bird-eating spider. They don't really eat birds. Okay, now maybe if it came across a dead bird in the wild, yeah, it would eat it. But it doesn't climb trees. It lives on the ground and in the ground. And it does produce webbing. This one is usually pretty good at showing us this, that. I don't know if the lighting is hitting that right. Can you see that webbing on there at all? I don't know. It's kind of, just take my word for it. There's webbing flowing through the air now. Not my face. Not my face! Good. We're good. The bird-eating spider, though, it walks around eating bugs. Crickets, cockroaches, beetles, scorpions, centipedes, sometimes mice, lizards, even small snakes. But as it's walking around, other animals are looking for food. Fox, a monkey, a coati sees this guy, they're thinking dinner. Just like some of you, right? Because let's be honest, this looks like 2 chicken nuggets and a bunch of French fries right there, right? A little honey mustard, we're all good? Yeah. So a fox sees this, he's trying to eat it, he starts sniffing at it. The tarantula, to protect itself, does what? It kicks hair off its backside like it just showed us before. You going to do it on cue this time or now? No, not when I want it to. It never does anything you want it to when you want it to. But you saw that kick some of that hair off, that fox sniffing it, like that. There we go. And then if I'm a fox, I don't really want to show you because that hair gets in your nose and itches and burns at your... I think I got some. I'm good. Okay. I've learned so much about what to do and not to do with animals this week, right? How many of you watched the hedgehog episode? But I'm like, I wonder what a badger feels like. And I got poked in the nose. I'm still feeling that. I got attacked by an owl yesterday. I pooped all over. Today I breathed in some of these. So if you see me sneeze and I rub my nose, you know why. It works. A fox sniffing leaves it alone. Works out great. So I was told that Dee likes all kinds of bugs. So hopefully that is kind of a happy birthday. You got to see a bug, a tarantula. But I also heard that Dee likes another kind of animal as well. Some of you know what's always in... Hold on. Yes. Whole rest of my day is going to be different thanks to that. I took one for you, Dee. Yeah, thanks. All right, I do have a beautiful little snake here. This, let's just pretend that I'm sitting in your living room with a snake, Dee, and just pet the screen, because it feels exactly like touching this snake. You see, it looks wet and slimy, but it's actually smooth like glass or plastic. This kind of snake, as you probably already have figured, maybe you know, is a type of corn snake. A very beautiful corn snake. At least I think it's a pretty snake. You can see I don't even have to hold this snake. It holds on to me. Look, Ma, no hands. Works out very, very well. Now, the corn snake, very, very nice snake, very beautiful snake, and one that loves to do all the snaky things like stick its tongue out a lot, hold on with its body, and of course scares people. No, I'm kidding. It's not going to do all that. The corn snake is a very, very nice snake. You can find this in like the eastern part of the United States. This coloration here is one that I think is really, really fun to find. Out in the wild, be super cool to find a beautiful, beautiful snake like this. So here is a corn snake, a nice little snake, and this is kind of my happy birthday shout out to Dee. There is the snake there that we. Okay, that didn't work. Go back in the bag, and then okay, buddy. You know we're done with. Oh, here, maybe you wanna say something to happy birthday, Dee. Okay, the snake said happy birthday. That worked out well. Actually, the snake has no idea what we're talking about because snakes don't have ears. Yeah, it's great. But I hope everybody has told Dee happy birthday. I hope that this made your birthday a little bit more special. Maybe someday we can meet in person. That would be wonderful. But I think this was something that was worth waking up for today. And that's what birthdays are about, right? Double digits now. It'll never be the same. You'll never be... You could be triple digits. That would be cool. But the rest of your life, you're going to be in double digits. So this is your first step into doing that. All right. Happy birthday, Dee. We've got just time for maybe another question or two. And then we're going to call it good for this session. Also in the comments, if you feel and you want to do this again sometime, let me know. Because we really are doing what you guys want. So we take all these into considerations on how to come up with our next episode ideas. But another question.
How does one legally own an alligator in Arizona?
I never said I had an alligator legally. I don't know how to do that. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. Arizona Game and Fish. Check. I do have purpose. Yeah, you know it works. Actually, that's a very good question. You have to realize that a lot of these animals that I'm showing you are not just pets, things that people are like, oh, I want to have this or that. I have been educating people about wildlife for 25 plus years. And worked with a lot of different organizations and things, and in so doing, I've done all this so that I could get permits for different things. Here in Arizona, there's certain things that you're just not allowed to have unless you have a permit. It's kind of like, you know, driving a car. You might know how to drive a car, but you might not have a driver's license. That's something to keep in mind. So yes, my permit, I have to go through our Arizona Game and Fish Department. There's certain regulations, of course. I can't just go, hey guys, can I have an alligator? Sure, here you go. Have as many as you want. Woohoo! Alligators everywhere. I'm not allowed to breed them. I mean, there's all kinds of different things. I have to use them for educational purposes. I have an educational permit. There's basically that, or there's a zoo permit. There's a few different permitted things through the Game and Fish Department. I have to turn in all kinds of paperwork on them all the time. I have to put a whole packet of information together before they even said, I think you might know what you're doing, and you can have one showing how they're going to be housed and how we're going to take care of them and all sorts of different things. And it's not just the alligators. Basically, for a lot of the stuff that I have to have a license, a permit, whether it's rattlesnakes, the armadillo, the snapping turtles. Used to have a permit to have a hedgehog. So I had that, and then the law has changed, and now anyone in Arizona can have hedgehogs. So there's a lot of different creatures that I have that I'm able to have that you know is a special thing, and I understand that. I understand not everybody can just go down to Florida and buy an alligator. Well, that's Florida. That's a whole nother thing. That's something I have to worry about too. Is if I get an alligator from out of state, what are their regulations? And there's a lot of paperwork there, and it's a lot of work. I'll just go with that. So, tell you what, we've got time. We'll take one more question, as long as it's not political, and we will go ahead and call it a day and call it an interview. By the way, did anybody here catch the show over on the Boys and Girls Club of Casa Grande Valley's thing? I don't know if that's something that you got to see. I don't know. It was the first time they ever did something like that, so I don't know if you guys helped out by kicking over there. But we did have a lot of fun. And we actually did like a little show with 4 different animals from 4 different continents and stuff. So, but let's go with our very last question today. Goes to
Deanna Laguna. What is one animal that you've worked with but don't care to work with again?
Okay, have we talked about my kids? I'm kidding. I love working with my kids. But one animal that I've worked with that I would be fine never working with again. That's interesting because there have been some times that I was kind of like worked up, oh my gosh, this is going to be the greatest thing, I'm going to work with this. And then I was like, oh, that wasn't super exciting, right? So some of that maybe being a letdown. But I will say there are definitely some that I'm like, how about we not use that one in a show, or how about we don't do this particular one? It's kind of, man, that's a good question. I don't have anything just jumping to mind right away. Do we have any suggestions from the computer area over here? I'm not.
Solpagen?
There's a few that I might go, well, how about we don't do that? It's not like I've had really bad experience necessarily. Stumpy the Tortoise is one that there's a number of times I'm like, how about we don't work with that again? When I'm in the middle of doing a show, hey, everybody, look at this great tortoise, world-renowned tortoise, and then he pees all over me, and I'm like, how about, buddy, we don't have to be friends. I would say there's some that I generally, would say, and I think what I was just coming to mind that's worked well is red-tailed boa. That is one that, I mean, they're a beautiful snake, they're nice, but they're one of these that they cannot be trusted, okay? And I've had some that we're working with doing this. Now, there are some times where I go to work with an animal and it doesn't do what we expect it to do, and a little frustrating, but that's not like, I'm never going to work with you again. That means I need to work with you more. That's, I don't know that there's one that's particularly somebody would say, I want to see this animal, can you show me this animal, or I have this animal, can you come talk to me about it, that I would say like, I'd rather not work with that one. Even, I'm not big on birds, but we have birds and I like the birds, they're okay. But they're just something that I don't like to use in shows because they're a lot of work as far as traveling and setup and so on. So that's a little bit different, really. So yeah, I don't know. Aside from there are some humans that I'm fine never working with again, and I heard a saying once that I think to be true, and that is the more people I meet, the more I like working with rattlesnakes and alligators. So I don't know if that answers the question really there. There's actually, with that being said, garter snakes would probably fit into that. Beautiful snakes, I would still go and do it for you, but I very rarely have ever picked up a garter snake that hasn't made me stink for the next 3 days. Garter snakes are one of those, you pick them up, they sometimes try to bite, which I'm all right, whatever, an animal bites you, no big deal. Unless it's, a hippo, all right, but at least it's not getting stabbed by a rhino. But I have never, I don't think I've ever picked up a garter snake and not had all over it. And then I stink. And that's just terrible stuff, right? Jellyfish. Let's be honest. I would probably say, how about we don't work with jellyfish? I mean, I would still do it for you, But there's maybe that. But really, no, I can't think of too many things that, I would say I've worked with that and I'm never going to work with that again. So that's actually a pretty good question to end with. We're going to go ahead. I know we went a little bit long today. I had some fun doing this. I hope you guys did. And hopefully throwing in a couple animals made it a little bit more interesting. If you want to do this kind of thing again, let me know. There's actually going to be some times that we need to do something like this. I'm going to be driving during this time of the day or off site where, hey, this might be fun. Let's do it again. But let me know what you think in the comments. Also, I do want to take this opportunity to thank everybody that helped out Arizona Wildlife Resource yesterday for any of the donations that went over there and stuff. I appreciate that. I know I try to do my part, but you guys are able to help probably just as much. and I appreciate you doing that. Also, for those that have helped with us to help financially, I appreciate that. Once again, no pressure there, but the virtual tip jar is what's helping things keep going here. So feel free if you want to help out with that. Once again, you can Zelle payment at wildmanphil.com. You can Venmo Wildman Phil, all one word, capital W, capital P, and PayPal at presentations@desertwildlife.net. I'll put all those in the comments yet again. And feel free to support the sponsors. You need any apparel, hat, clothing, whatever, Abiding Impressions in Casa Grande. Been very helpful for us getting our merchandise store up. If you haven't got your Wildman Phil swag ordered yet, go on wildmanphil.shop and check that out. Order your stuff. And if you've ordered Stumpy the Tortoise shirts as part of your order will be shipped out, I think Tuesday or Wednesday. So we apologize for that, but you guys were so great, and it was such an overwhelming order of those that we just weren't ready. I got to be honest with you. So, but we are good now. And also, if there's something that you're thinking, I'd like you to have this, whatever it is, let me know. And we'll see if we can maybe get that somehow onto the store if we hear enough about things. So we're here for you, and we being me, the crew, Abiding Impressions, the sponsors, Brave Wilderness, Mark, Mario, Coyote. These guys are great. If you haven't checked out to their YouTube page and follow them at all, definitely do that as well. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed today. Thank you for all the wonderful questions. If you have more, we can do this again. We'll see you later on this. Tomorrow, don't hang up yet, everybody. We have another show tomorrow. It's only Thursday. So, tomorrow's Friday, and Fridays are Freaky Fridays. So, we've got more of our Nature's Nightmare tomorrow. And come back on to see. I'll post a picture, see if you can figure out what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Let's just say it's one of those things, when you see the picture, you're probably not going to want to come over and see it in real life, all right? So, Nature's Nightmare, Volume 2 tomorrow. Volume 1 was Centipedes last Friday. So, tune in for that tomorrow. So, with that being said, we'll see you guys back here, 11 a.m. Arizona time tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Wildman Phil signing out.